Hello everyone, friends. Thank you for checking out Bitcoin Adept. Today we will talk about the price of Bitcoin and how much it might cost at the bottom of the next cycle. As people who are entering the market now are wondering whether it's worth buying Bitcoin now, how high it will rise, and then where it will fall. And many of you who watch my videos know that I haven't been buying for a long time. Bitcoin, I bought it right here at the bottom, around $23,000. And now I'm only slowly selling off, because I believe that Bitcoin might reach its maximum values by the end of this year. That is, at the end of this year, a bear cycle, a bear market might begin. Bitcoin will go down and, as usual, will find its bottom values in about a year. And if Bitcoin is currently approximately $100,000, give or take a couple of thousand, then how much could it be worth in these 1.5 to 2 years when it reaches the next bottom? Firstly, I have my signal indicator connected here. Bitcoin, Adept cycles. It approximately follows them. But guys, there are more accurate tools that I used in past cycles. They did not let me down. We found the bottom values. That's where I made my purchases. And it looks like this. I will now show you on the previous cycle, and then we will move to our cycle. And you will see that this whole scheme works. Connect such a tool. Here's how Fibonacci correction in trading view. And from the lower values on Bitcoin, no one can argue that these were the bottom values. At the end of 2018, beginning of 2019, that is, from these lower values, you are stretch the Fibonacci extension. And you also need to know the upper values. That is, if you are approximately in the middle of a bear cycle and don't know where the next bottom for Bitcoin will be, then this simple tool will show everything. In short, once again, from the bottom of the previous low to the maximum values, you stretch the Fibonacci extension and the level 0786. It shows you where the next bottom might be. Moreover, the level, this one right here. 0.786 is already an averaged accurate value, but Bitcoin sometimes reaches the level of 0.812, and Bitcoin squeezed right to this level. But I wouldn't rely heavily on that lower level, rather on this upper one. It's quite likely that this level is approximately $17,500, give or take $300. I will now show you that this whole thing works on past cycles as well. But someone might say, it's easy to analyze history and apply different tools. But when this bear market begins, no one can say where Bitcoin will go. But guys, if you look at my very first video, which I recorded at the end of 2021, we were right here. At the initial decline, at the start of the bear market. Let's switch over. This is my very first video. You can even see on the chart where we are. It's the $49,000 level. Although I talked about this even earlier in my Telegram channel when we were at the highs. So the first video is even titled at what price to expect Bitcoin in 2022. And I marked 17,850 as stated in the description. At the end of 2022 my targets were set, and there I placed my main purchase order. And if you play it, I also extend the Fibonacci retracement. Everything repeats. And now I'll pull it once more. You see? Now it can be done better. Set it up. It will be 700 that it sets in. Not 8,850. Guys, here I used a non-logarithmic chart, but it's all the same. That is, even if we use a non-logarithmic chart and stretch it all out, we hit the same levels. It's just that the logarithmic one is more convenient for perception. And right here at the bottom, or rather, we were still around $60,000. I placed my main order to buy Bitcoin already around $17,850. Yes, Bitcoin went a bit lower to around 15, even 600 on different exchanges, varying slightly, reaching up to $16,000. But agree, when we were still at the higher values and many were shouting that Bitcoin would soar to the moon by an average out. I sold everything a long time ago and persistently showed you where the next values for Bitcoin would be, guys. And these values could be observed in every cycle. The same thing, if we, for example, are right here, yes, with some decline in Bitcoin, we assume that the bearish cycle of Bitcoin's 4-year cycle has already begun. But we don't know where the bottom will be, either here or there or here or somewhere down below. But we already know the lower values, the data, the previous maximum values of this cycle, and we stretch it in the same way. This is the Fibonacci extension from bottom. Guys, in the same way, we hit the target right here in the area of the main accumulations. Here. In the same way, Bitcoin fell a little lower, but that's just pennies, guys. The main thing was to grasp these benchmarks, not to buy in. Somewhere here, or there, or somewhere else, or wait for Bitcoin somewhere down below. As many bloggers advised, saying that Bitcoin would definitely go to zero. But guys, that's all nonsense. That is, you could even go back further. All of this, from the very first impulse, the main one for Bitcoin, which was in 2011. There was a bottom here too. No one can argue with this bottom. Also from this bottom, if we stretch it to the maximum of values, and look, where we end up. We still end up at these accumulation levels, from which we have already measured the following values. And it seems like historically all of this works, but once again, someone might say that things will not go as they did in the past. Now it's a completely different situation in the world. That's what people say every time, because people, especially the youth, let's say those aged 25, 35, even up to 40, I'll say, they believe they live in such a unique time that in the past it was some kind of unclear nonsense not worth paying attention to, and now everything is different. Now, the markets are different, and Bitcoin and economic situations and wars. But guys, I want to dissuade you. If you read history, especially in various financial markets, you'll understand that everything is approximately the same. In any case, according to this scheme, the big players have been shaving us for quite a long time. In short, I've dragged this out. We know the lower values where we came not so long ago, but a couple of years ago, and we almost know the upper values until the end. I'm not sure we'll get here. To the range of $180,000 to $200,000, but now we'll do some analysis with a couple of options. So, we also know from below, yes, that we had a bottom, but we don't know the top until the end yet. It would be good, of course, when we reach these maximum values. And from there, we will measure and we will hit more accurately the next bottom zone for Bitcoin. But for now, we don't know. We can only speculate. Let's assume that Bitcoin will be worth $200,000 per coin. Then the level, or rather, this area between the two levels, 0.786 and 0.8, this will be the price from exactly $50,000 to $55,000. So let's even write approximately, well, let's say $52,000 for Bitcoin. And now let's lower these values. If Bitcoin does not reach the level of $200,000, let's set it at $180,000. There's not much of a difference. But now, this lower level is $46,000. The upper one is $50,000. So approximately $48,000 per Bitcoin. A target of around 48 can be set, like 48 to 52. But guys, if we don't reach $180,000, but at least get to 150, I think we will definitely reach 150. Then the levels shift even lower to $41,000, $44,000 per Bitcoin. And here we will have some range, approximately 43,000, which is averaged, to 48,000, 52,000, depending on where Bitcoin goes. Right now, it's a bit difficult to say. That is, when Bitcoin reaches certain values, from those values we will analyze and choose more precise targets where we can reach. But in any case, guys, this is much lower than the current price of Bitcoin. Therefore, If you want to make some short-term profit, if you buy Bitcoin now, it might still grow. You could earn about 25%, maybe even 30%, risking your money. But in crypto, I wouldn't risk it for 25-30%. For example, I risk my money for a 5 to 10x return. Bitcoin by buying various altcoins, but I definitely wouldn't invest in Bitcoin for the potential to earn 20 to 30%. But if you still decide to invest in Bitcoin, especially for the long term, I would recommend buying with part of your money, for example, now, and waiting with the rest for some further decline. Moreover, this part that you buy now, if Bitcoin reaches its maximum values, you can sell it all off. Again, Bitcoin, altcoin, and wait. When all this settles down, it's also a good idea to short various shitcoins in a bear market, and then use this tidy sum to buy Bitcoin, and possibly altcoins in the future. But someone might say, what if Bitcoin goes even higher? Yes, you've marked $200,000. Then we will approximately fall right here in the area of $52,000. And if Bitcoin goes, for example, to 300,000, well, there's no point in guessing now where Bitcoin might go. The target unloading or zone is calculated here on my signal indicator based on those historical values where Bitcoin has already reached in past cycles. But if Bitcoin reaches, for example, $300,000, then the values we will be waiting for later will be in the range of $6,800 to $7,500. That is, we guys need to wait until Bitcoin reaches some maximum values, goes down to a bear market, take a short break. Well, of course, determine where these maximum values are, sell it all off there, transferring everything to stable coins, take a arc break for several months, I would say, maybe even at least 6 months. And then determine the bottom values where we might arrive in the next cycle. But even if Bitcoin, I repeat, reaches $300,000, it will fall to the bottom. Still lower than where we are at the moment. And when our bull market ends and when Bitcoin turns around and goes down, I will definitely release another video, just like I released in the last cycle when we arrived already at the beginning of the bear market and we're feeling out the bottom. And I will also place my main order for buying Bitcoin, which will most likely be executed. And then again, you will say that I didn't warn you. I didn't say, but only showed through history where Bitcoin might go. Yes, according to historical charts. Now guys, let's switch to the nearest values for Bitcoin. And my benchmarks are such that after this sideways movement, we might go a little lower. You all know this. And then start updating these local maximum values and then move into the upper unloading zone. And we need to know exactly where Bitcoin will turn around and at some point go up. First of all, let's connect it once more. The side volumes, the indicator, and we'll see that we are currently in its upper part. That is, just a couple of days ago, I showed you that we were in the lower part in terms of volumes. When Bitcoin was down here, it was likely that we would come up. We came up and now we are at the top. This is the main area of interest for Bitcoin. This area is $95,000 dash 8,600, and we can move within this range for some time until some reversal movements, but we need to determine the reversals ourselves. And for this, I am now connecting my signal indicators. Let's just look at the Bitcoin Adept buy and sell indicator, my main signal indicator on the 3-day chart. And so far there are no signals on it, which means that further decline is possible. In any case, that's how the indicator sees it. In the history, you can see that the indicator has been quite good at identifying these lower points. This is a 3-day chart, which is more global, but let's look at the 8-hour chart to see where Bitcoin is. And here it is visible that the last signal was a buy. On this squeeze, since February 18th, we went up and now a sell signal might be forming. I will be closely watching this indicator, as it will serve as a confirmation for another move downwards. And guys, I strongly recommend installing my signal indicators. There are about 8 of them. It's completely free. You can install them on your smartphone or on your computer. You can use this program TradingView. In the video description, it explains how to do it. Also, join our trading charts if you're too lazy to analyze the market yourself. And that's regarding Bitcoin. Now, concerning a couple of altcoins, many are writing yes, since I mentioned them in previous videos. Altcoin, Trump, altcoin, Melania. And now people are asking what will happen with them now. With Melania and with Trump. Look, here's an interesting thing. Initially, when this Trump coin, this 4-hour chart, the coin got listed, it went up on news, on hype, and a lot of people jumped into it. Untypically, the coin should correct for some time. And somewhere at the bottom they should buy it up, as agencies often do, which pump these altcoins. And so it's not Donald Trump himself sitting there at the computer buying and selling. No, he gives the instruction, for example, to create his own altcoin. And then to have this altcoin properly introduced to the exchange so it rises on the hype. Yes, then on negative news, people will sell it off. And then it will soar into space. In short, look at what levels this altcoin showed investors with its movements. That is, first it fell. It reached $77. This is very important. Even around $75 I would say. Then it dropped to the level of $45. It bounced back here. There was a correction at $45. It fell lower. So it squeezed here, which is not important, and stopped at the level of $35. That is $10 lower. A kind of neat pattern. Here again, a squeeze to $35, then it went higher again. I won't be switching to various hourly charts or 30-minute ones here. But the point is that at these $35, it lingered and at some point went even lower to $25, already $25, $26. Here, it created a kind of sideways movement. I expressed my assumption here, even here when we were higher, that if Bitcoin turns around at some point in the near future, we will find this $25 level. And from this level, we will go up. But Bitcoin did not turn around at that moment. Accordingly, this Trump coin also did not turn around. It went even lower. What is the next level you anticipate? Above was here at 45, below 35, here 25. Correct. It's the $15 per coin level. $15. And exhausting movements began already at this level. And again, guys, right here where we were, I even drew an arrow pointing up that if Bitcoin goes up, then from these levels we will start from and go higher. But again, Bitcoin went up and the coin ramp didn't really fall much lower, meaning I believe it found some benchmarks around $15 to $17 where it is currently situated. Even if Bitcoin goes somewhere to -3, -5, maybe even -8%, then this coin won't drop significantly, meaning it won't go to -$10. I don't think it will be worth $5. I think it might reach $12. And then it will rise together with Bitcoin. Yes, of course, everything heavily depends on Bitcoin. What if you wake up tomorrow and Bitcoin is worth 0? Then, accordingly, the Trump coins would also be gone. But that's still in the realm of fantasy, with Bitcoin at 0 rubles. So, we are orienting ourselves. We will focus on a certain history that has been present for at least the last 12 years with Bitcoin. And another coin similar to the Trump coin is the coin of his wife Melania. And here, or two, we can see the levels at which it has stopped. That is, it first reached its maximum values, then from those maximum values, this is classic, the coin flies very quickly, down, it finds its local bottom. At that moment, you could even say on that day or the next, later, it goes down, finding the next bottom. Here it stays for a longer period of time. Then another move lower. Here it stays much longer than it did before. That is twice as long. here we are staying twice as long as here. And accordingly, here we are staying twice as long as here. This, guys, is classic. You perceive these, my words, not only about these two coins, Trump and Melania, but also about other coins as well. Because the approach is the same, that if a person has released their own coin, especially a significant person like Trump, like Melania, or some major blogger or some famous personality, then people right here, he planted it once. It's like, right, this is such an initial stage, an initial move to attract attention to their coin, then a negative background or a lull sets in. Everyone writes in chats, oh, what a jerk you are, what a bastard. Yes, your coin is going down, and we got in at the highs here. All this intensifies. Yes, more time passes. People read each other's comments, support each other, and sell everything off. Yes, because they, well, you could say, get infected by the negativity. You could say they intensify the selling, meaning they bought at the highs but sell at lower values. Accordingly, the more you sell, the more the price goes down. And at some point, the sales decrease and you see that the coin no longer drops significantly in price. And at these levels, the creator of the coin starts buying back. Well, obviously, it's not the wife sitting there buying this coin from her phone. Although maybe, guys, maybe she is sitting there secretly from her husband, making a stash for the future. But most likely, this is done by other trained people. And all this to say that this coin has reached the level of $1 and $2 from the past. In my videos, I roughly showed you that I don't expect this coin to go below $1.1. Again, it all depends on Bitcoin, guys. If suddenly a bear market starts, some unclear situations arise and Bitcoin crashes downwards, then no dollar level will hold these coins. They will also crash along with Bitcoin. But, guys, if we look at the market with a more sober and organic perspective, then again, my expectations might differ from yours. I expect that Bitcoin at some point will make a boop, slight downward move. Right. It will turn around and go up. And I assume that these coins, Melania and Trump, will also turn around and go up. And in addition, I'll say that I hold these coins on the spot market. I wasn't planning to buy them when they were quite high. I placed buy orders just for fun, you could say. I bought Trump around $16 or $17, and I've slightly averaged down now. I bought Melania at $1, or rather the orders were executed. I woke up one day and saw that the orders had been executed. I thought, well, alright, if I bought them, then I bought them. And I fully understand that this is a high-risk asset. If I earn, then I earn. If I lose, it's no big deal. And that's all. Subscribe to this YouTube channel if you want to hear my thoughts on the price of Bitcoin and altcoins. Also, install all my signal indicators, join in. Trade in our chats and earn, as the current surge is very favorable. That's what I think. Thank you to everyone who watched this video to the end. Goodbye to all.